Alright, so today's video is an update on the controversial AB5 law. We've been talking about the AB5 law and how it might impact trucking. Well, we don't have to talk about how it might impact trucking. We have to talk about now, how will it impact trucking? Because yesterday we found out that the Supreme Court had decided not to review the California Trucking Association's appeal. They had appealed to the Supreme Court hoping for a review to get the decision that they had received at the last court. I think that was the Ninth Circuit. So they were trying to get that decision overturned, but the Supreme Court decided not to hear the case. So they had an injunction in place during this time. Now that injunction will be lifted and the AB5 law will apply to trucking in California. And anytime we're talking about laws that directly affect my business, my industry, I'm always concerned about that as a business owner, because I'm thinking to myself, how far do we go with this? Do other states come in and start adopting these same laws? Does the law just impact carriers or truckers that are leased on to carriers, or will it extend to broker carrier relationships? So I'm always concerned with that, because you never know where these laws will go, because anytime they start reaching, sometimes they start overreaching and getting into things that are outside of the scope of what they are trying to fix. But I don't want to make it seem as if I don't understand why the state of California had to enact this law. They're doing it to protect employees. When you have companies that try and take advantage of employees by simply changing their status from employee to independent contractor, I don't think that's right. Everybody is not an independent contractor. Everybody is not fit to be a business owner, so don't make them be an independent contractor. The other issue I have, though, is they are truck drivers who want to be independent contractors, and I don't think you should take away their right to be an independent contractor. So I think that there needs to be a middle ground. Somewhere there needs to be a place where you can take care of employees but don't hurt truck drivers who want to be independent contractors or independent contractors in any field. Now, this is why the AB5 law is so significant. It took a 2018 state Supreme Court decision and actually made it a law. It's now making it very hard for a carrier to qualify as an independent contractor. Now the carrier has to go through a three-pronged test. They call it the ABC test. Now, a portion of the test says that the worker is free from the control and direction of the hiring entity. That's not really hard to do right there. The B portion is the portion of this qualification that is almost impossible to meet. It says that the worker performs work that is outside the usual course of the hiring entity's business. Now, that means that if you are a carrier and you are contracting or independent contractor for another carrier, you have to be doing something outside of what their normal business is. So if their normal business is to move loads from point A to point B, you can't come in and provide that same service as an independent contractor. C leg of that qualification says that the worker is customarily engaged in independently established trade occupation or business of the same nature as the work performed. So there are three legs of this thing, and you have to qualify. You have to meet all three legs, and if you don't qualify as an independent contractor. So now what do you do in this situation if you're an independent contractor and now you're having to comply with the AB5 law? As business owners, we don't just fold up and say, oh, okay, because they've enacted laws, now we don't have a business. We have to find a way to navigate these issues. One thing that you can look at doing is basically taking a look at your business model and restructuring your entire business model. Maybe becoming an owner-operator and having your own authority, moving your own freight, finding your own freight. Another option is maybe you can become an employee of the company that you were an independent contractor with. Maybe they want to pick up employees. The question is, do you want to be an employee? I'm under the thinking that most people, most truck drivers that are independent contractors want to be independent contractors. They don't want to be an employee, so that probably won't be something that will work out. Now, another option that you may want to consider that may even be a better option than the three options we discussed is pivoting to a logistics company. You already have the experience as a trucker. You know how the trucking game works. If you take that experience to a logistics company, it may not be that difficult of a transition. Now, is there going to be some things that you have to learn in a new business? Of course, but having experience already as a truck driver would definitely be to your benefit in a new logistics business. One last option that may be the best option for those of you who want to remain truck drivers. You could look at relocating your business outside of the state of California. Right now, the AB5 law only applies in the state of California. Now, does that mean that other states are not going to at some point adopt the AB5 law? No, it does not mean that. Other states could adopt the law, but right now it's only in the state of California. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. I do not think this is the end of the world because we have the AB5 law now in the state of California, but I do think that you're going to have to change some things as far as your business is concerned in order to win in this new environment. Now, if you're a freight broker, I don't think we'll come under the same scrutiny that carriers and independent contractors, those relationships have come under. I do think that we need to keep our heads on a swivel, stay alert, stay alive, because we can't just assume that states would automatically recognize that brokers and carriers are doing two different things. You would think they would know that, but we just can't come to that conclusion because things happen. You know, I'm sure carriers didn't think that the independent contractor relationship that they had would be scrutinized, but it is. So just keep your head on a swivel, stay alert, stay alive. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to learn more about the freight broker business, if you've never really seen it to understand it, I have a free video series. It's titled How the Load Movement Process Works, and it gives you a chance to come into the office with me and you watch me on video as I move loads, talk to shippers, talk to carriers. That way you can get an idea how those conversations go, get a better understanding of how the business works before you come into it. And then if you're interested in learning about how much it costs, specifically what the costs are to start your own freight broker business, I'll leave a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top because the bottom is much too crowded.